The day the little dog appeared on the outskirts of town, the drizzle was persistent, much like the memories that haunted him. He was a scruffy, lanky creature with matted fur of faded brown and a weary look that spoke of countless days of neglect. Once, he had maybe known the tender word love, but that was long forgotten. His eyes, wide and wary, were windows to a soul betrayed by human indifference. No one had taken him in, nor had anyone cared to, until that day when Emily, a gentle and determined veterinary technician, saw beyond the grime and the trembling body. Emily was coming in for her early shift at the busy animal clinic when she heard soft, pitiful whimpers coming from behind a cluster of overgrown bushes near the parking lot. Drawn by an instinctive need to help, she approached slowly, not wanting to scare him further. There, shivering beneath the sodden cover of the hedge, lay a thin, neglected dog. His ribs were mere shadows beneath his tangled coat, and his eyes darted around as if expecting cruelty at every turn. Emily's heart clenched with empathy. She knelt to his level, extended a hand, and with a soft murmur said, "Hey there, I won't hurt you." For minutes that felt like hours. The dog eyed her suspiciously. Fear and caution waged war against the faint ember of hope that flickered within him. Slowly, Emily dug into her bag and withdrew a small container of warm water mixed with a bit of canine food. Sensing her genuine care, the dog crept forward, head low, until his trembling muzzle finally nuzzled the offering. Emily's face lit up with a gentle smile. "I know it's hard to trust," she whispered, stroking his head with a tenderness that belied the scars of his past. "But I'll be here as long as you need me." It took several days and many long, patient moments for the dog, whom Emily began to call Rusty, to allow himself into her routine. Every morning, on her way to the clinic, Emily would stop by the alley where Rusty waited. Slowly, the once evasive dog grew accustomed to her presence. He no longer hid behind dumpsters or darted away at the sound of her footsteps. In fact, sometimes he would meet her halfway, a tentative glimmer of trust in his eyes. When Emily finally brought Rusty to the animal clinic, the staff could immediately see the impact his condition had on him. A full physical examination revealed a litany of problems: malnutrition, dehydration, and even a small, untreated wound on his leg. Emily worked methodically, cleaning the wound, administering fluids, and reassuring him with soft words and gentle touches. "You're safe now," she promised repeatedly, her voice a soothing balm to his wary spirit. Every procedure was slow and careful, accompanied by quiet reassurances. In a small room in the back of the clinic, Emily arranged a cozy space just for Rusty, complete with a soft blanket, a bowl of water, and a favorite treat she had discovered he couldn't resist. Over the following weeks, Rusty's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. His body began to fill out. His coat, though still misshapen from neglect, started to regain a semblance of luster. But more importantly, the guarded look in his eyes softened. His once tense stance relaxed, and he began to meet Emily's gaze without immediate suspicion. Every day became an exercise in relearning trust. Some mornings, when Rusty had barely mustered the will to rise from his bed, Emily would sit with him, her hand resting gently on his flank. "I had no right to abandon you," she would sometimes murmur, as if trying to fill the long silence in his heart. In her sincere eyes reflected a promise that maybe, just maybe, the cruelties of the past could be replaced by hope for the future. Other days, as the weather warmed, she took him on short, careful walks around the perimeter of the clinic, where he could sniff the fresh air and slowly rediscover that the world was not all darkness, and pain. During one such walk under a purple dusk sky, Rusty paused by a lamp post, ears perked at the sound of distant laughter and conversation. For a heartbeat, he looked as though he wished to run back, hiding again in the shadows of comfort. But then he glanced at Emily, who was patiently sitting on the curb, watching him with quiet pride and concern. He trotted back to her side, his tail giving a slight wag, a silent signal of his growing trust. In that small, seemingly insignificant moment, all the struggles of his past seemed to melt away, replaced by the warmth of companionship. Days turned into weeks. Emily's daily commitment to Rusty became a beacon in the animal clinic, inspiring others. Staff members, once accustomed only to treating animals in pain or distress, marveled at the gentle progress of a creature once betrayed by life. They saw in Rusty a symbol of resilience, of how love and compassion could heal even the deepest wounds. Emily, too, found solace in their shared interactions. The long hours and emotional toll of working with animals in dire need became lighter when she saw Rusty curl up beside her as if to say, "Thank you for never giving up on me." One rainy afternoon, as the clinic buzzed quietly with activity, Rusty found himself sitting close to Emily in the recovery room. A family with a recently adopted puppy passed by, sharing a soft smile of contentment that mirrored the serenity in Rusty's eyes. It was then that a young volunteer approached Emily with a shy smile and said, "He's changed so much. Do you think he'll ever be ready for a forever home?" Emily paused, her eyes fixed on Rusty's gentle gaze. "I believe," she replied softly, "that trust, once nurtured, can bloom into a love that lasts a lifetime. Rusty has taught me so much about hope. He's not just healing, he's teaching me how to forgive the past and embrace the future." That day marked a turning point. Rusty, once the embodiment of neglect and fear, had blossomed into a dog full of cautious optimism. His once hesitant steps became sure, and his eyes, now clear and bright, held the warmth of a soul that understood love. Emily knew that despite his painful beginnings, every creature deserved a second chance. And, as Rusty's recovery progressed, there came the time when the clinic held a small celebration, a gentle farewell for Rusty as he transitioned into his new life with a caring adoptive family, handpicked by Emily. The farewell was bittersweet. Emily sat with Rusty one final time in his favorite corner of the recovery room. "You've come so far, my friend," she whispered, gently stroking his soft, now much healthier coat. "I'm honored to have walked this journey with you." Rusty, sensing the sincerity in her words, rested his head on her knee, a silent message of gratitude. As the adoptive family arrived, eager to welcome Rusty into their loving home, Emily felt a tight knot of sadness mixed with immense satisfaction. She knew that although her heart ached at this goodbye, she had helped rewrite the final chapters of his story. In the soft rustle of his newly vibrant fur and the bright spark in his eyes, there was the echo of countless promises kept. In the days that followed, Emily would sometimes catch sight of a familiar tail wagging excitedly from a distance, or a flash of brown fur playing merrily at a park. Each time, her heart would swell with assurance that Rusty was right where he belonged, living a life filled with warmth, kindness, and care. And every now and then, when the clinic was quiet, she'd sit in the recovery room and remember the gentle dog who had once learned to trust again. For Emily, the journey with Rusty was a constant reminder that even in a world where cruelty and neglect sometimes prevail, compassion has the power to heal. With every life saved, every trust rebuilt, and every small act of kindness, the cycle of love continued to renew itself, one paw at a time. In this tale of resilience and redemption, Rusty's transformation stands as a testament to the healing power of care and the unyielding strength of the human and animal spirit. His journey from a life of neglect to one filled with love and trust is a quiet celebration of second chances, a reminder that sometimes all it takes is one compassionate soul to spark hope again.